The LSU Tigers are still climbing to what it hopes will be its first national championship in gymnastics. After an exciting win in New Orleans on March 23rd, the ladies earned their fifth SEC championship win, and now that the SEC has been won, it's time to move on and continue the climb, and it all starts tonight at the Arkansas Regionals. This is Camryn Connor, your host, and I'll be right back with the down low on this gymnastics season.
The East Baton Rouge Library says this is the year to invest in you. The library brings value by connecting you to information, resources, materials, technology, and experiences. We make a positive difference in your life. All you need is your library card. Stop by one of our 14 locations, open 7 days a week, or find us online at ebrpl.com.
With an impressive record of 19-3 overall and 5-2 in conference play, the Tigers snagged the number 2 seed overall and are leading the pack in the Arkansas Regional that's scheduled from April 3rd to April 6th. Their goal is securing a spot at the 2024 NCAA Gymnastics Championships in Fort Worth, Texas, slated for April 18th through 20th. The selection of the top 36 teams for regional showdowns was based on their national qualifying score, their NQS, and the Tigers are kicking off their journey to nationals with a bang, boasting their highest NQS in program history at 198.215. This year marks the 41st overall appearance in postseason action for the Tigers and an impressive 39th consecutive berth for the program. Among their accomplishments are 31 NCAA championship appearances and 14 NCAA regional championships.
I mean, there's no such thing as with this format, there's no such thing as a easy region or we've got some familiar faces. Obviously, we've seen Arkansas, we've seen Kentucky. I don't know if that provides anybody any advantage. Again, you go back to the conversation, there's no defense. So we know that Kentucky's an extremely capable team and can do great things, and Arkansas will be at home. I think 3 seeds that are at home are always dangerous. They always seem to find a way to get in, and not always, but it's a regular occurrence. You saw that with Denver last year when we were out at Denver, and so it'll be a good environment. But this format that we have now is great for the sport in some ways. It's also tough. I mean, it's almost harder to get to the national semifinal than it is to exist there once you're there. It just is it's tough because we've concentrated everything down to 4 regionals, and so you look around the country, there's 3 or 4 teams in every region that have a legitimate shot of advancing all the way to Fort Worth. So I like it. The travel is easy. It's familiar to us. A lot of the kids on our team have competed. We've never competed in Bud Walton Arena, which is where it'll be this time. We're usually in Barnhill, but as far as the area and the campus, and I don't know if we've gotten hotel assignments or anything like that. So there's familiar. It'll be a good spot for us. It's just about us staying on message and focusing on the 5 minutes in front of our face and not getting too far ahead of ourselves.
The team's focus remains clear: take it one step at a time and stay grounded in the moment. LSU will hit the mats in the second session on Thursday, going up against Minnesota, Oregon State, and BYU. The Tigers will kick off on vault, then tackle bars and beam before closing out with floor routines. The order of the events will follow the Olympic rotation. And while we haven't gotten word on who exactly will be on the floor for LSU during this meet, we can assume Haley Bryant, Kaya Johnson, Aaliyah Finnegan, KJ Johnson, and Connor McLean will all be there as they combine for 10 regular season All-America honors this year. And after this, I'll be back to break down how the gymnastic bracket works.
It's your time to move things forward. U.S. Army Reserve.
The postseason for gymnastics begins after conference championship weekend. Regional competition is set to begin Wednesday, April 3rd, and continue through national selections on Monday, April 8th, leading up to the national championship from Thursday, April 18th to Saturday, April 20th. There are 4 regional hosts and 9 teams and qualified individual gymnasts competing at each site. Round 1 of regionals on Wednesday features a dual meet between the 2 lowest ranked teams. The winner of that meet advances to round 2 on Thursday, which includes 2 quad meets. 7 of the 8 teams that compete in round 2 essentially have a round 1 bye. The top 2 teams from each of those round 2 sessions advance to the regional final on Saturday, and then the top 2 teams at that meet advance to nationals 2 weeks later. In LSU's bracket, the Arkansas Regional, the 2 teams with the highest scores from this group tonight will move on to compete against the top 2 from Kentucky, Arkansas, Arizona, and Nebraska in the Arkansas Regional Final. The regional champion will earn a ticket to Fort Worth, Texas for the Elite 8. Based on NQS, which is graded by taking a team's top 6 scores, 3 of which must be away, dropping the highest and averaging the remaining 5, number 2 LSU is going up against number 15 Minnesota, number 18 Oregon State, and BYU. It's likely that the 2 highest ranked teams, LSU and Minnesota, will pull through and be the 2 teams competing against the other 2 winners of Kentucky, Arkansas, Arizona, and Nebraska, which out of those 4 is likely to be number 7 Kentucky and number 10 Arkansas. The NQS doesn't automatically give these teams an in for sure. There can always be an underdog, but if those teams do hold up on Saturday, April 6th, it would be LSU, Minnesota, Kentucky, and Arkansas competing against each other in the regional final before moving to the semifinals and national championship April 18th through the 20th. And if for some reason LSU doesn't advance further into the regionals, this still gives space for individuals on the LSU team to compete for a national title. But first, we need to compare LSU to Minnesota, Oregon State, and BYU for tonight's matchup. Number 2 LSU has an NQS of 198.215, coming in strong after clinching the SEC championship. However, the memory of last year's tournament still hangs over LSU's head. Despite staying healthy this season, they're determined to break through and claim their first national championship in school history. If they can handle the challenges from last year and their energy levels this year, LSU is primed to be the favorites in the Arkansas Regional. Up next, we have number 15, Minnesota, with the 197.310 NQS. Minnesota has consistently competed at a high level in the Big Ten this season and has surprised many with their performance at the conference championship. If they're peaking at the right time, they could pose a challenge to the top-ranked LSU. Number 18, Oregon State, with the 197.085 NQS. Oregon State boasts an impressive streak of 49 years' worth of postseason appearances, emphasizing the consistency as a key strength. For Oregon State, consistency is critical. The Beavers rank in the top 25 in every single event, headlined by their bar lineup, which is ranked number 7 in the nation. With the young roster and strong performances across all events, they're aiming to make a statement in the Arkansas Regional. And lastly, BYU with the 196.665 NQS. BYU has faced tough competition in the Big 12 this past season. Despite being the underdog against Boise State last night, they have experience competing against top-tier teams that could surprise in the Arkansas Regional. And like I said, the top 2 teams with the highest scores from this group will move on to compete against the top 2 from Kentucky, Arkansas, Arizona, and Nebraska in the Arkansas Regional Final. But one thing is for sure coming into the competition tonight: LSU has proved itself every step of the way.
There's no question. I mean, Olivia Dunn says it in our team meeting. We're at our best when we're having fun.
I think that most people that contact the 90-Day Lifeline are looking to be heard and to feel seen.
Anybody that calls here to talk about anything that has them upset, we will talk to them.
Even on our chat and text services, you will be actually chatting and texting with a real person.
We have enough resources to be able to help people in any type of situation.
We have helpline specialists that are trained to handle the variety of calls that we get.
It's a very laid back thing. We're not judging anybody. We're just a listening ear that some people don't have.
LSU does its best when the squad is having fun. If the Tigers can stay consistent and not get burnt out on the road, this could be another year where we see LSU in the Final Four. And if Jay Clark's ambitions become true, the climb this year could end up with the national championship rings. Tonight, the climb continues on in the second round of the Arkansas Regionals. You can catch all the action streamed live on ESPN Plus at 7 p.m. tonight.